Namaskaram everyone. As part of the ongoing Clyde Samvada series, we have our own distinguished Professor Sreevas Sahasranamam with us. Namaskaram Sreevas. Good to see you after some gap. I know you have been recently traveling quite a lot, and one of the, as per your program, you have been to your hometown Thiruvananthapuram. At the same time, I also came to know through my friends and also in the news, the big ritual was going on in Thiruvananthapuram, Padmanabha Swamy Temple. Is that something you can share with us, the divine experiences and how things have been changing over the years, and how this ritual and what is it called?
Sure. So the broader event is called Lakshadeepam.
Okay.
And within Lakshadeepam there are multiple subparts to it which constitute what is the overall Lakshadeepam.
Okay.
So I had the very good fortune this Christmas holiday time when I was in my hometown of Thiruvananthapuram to join for the ritual, not the entire thing because it's a 56-day event.
Oh, that's so more like a Kumbh Mela kind of.
Yeah, it's a very
duration.
Long. Yes, it's a very long duration. So it started November 20th all the way till January 14th, the Makar Sankranti day. So it was a 56-day ritual. So the overall thing is called Lakshadeepam.
Okay.
And within the Lakshadeepam there are multiple subparts to it.
Okay.
So one is what is called as Murajapam.
Oh.
We will go into each of them. Okay. Then there is Jalajapam.
Sure.
And then there's something called Bhadradeepam.
Okay.
Multiple Bhadradeepams actually constitute a Lakshadeepam.
Oh,
so when we talk about Lakshadeepam, we need to understand these subparts to understand the overall Lakshadeepam thing. So for me, the experience this time around was I was able to join for about 2.5 of the Muras. So the Mura, there are multiple iterations of it.
Right.
So I was able to join for about 2.5 of the Mura while I was there, especially during the Christmas 2 weeks holiday time.
Okay.
And what it essentially constituted is every day in the morning between 6:30 and 10:30 we do Veda chanting.
Okay.
All the different Vedas chanting.
Okay.
And it happens in 2 subparts within the morning. So one pre-breakfast, one post-breakfast.
Okay.
And the fortune is the fact that for each of the 2 times you're chanting literally on the area just outside the main sanctum sanctorium of the main Padmanabha Swamy.
Very blessing.
So, yes. So the biggest blessing for me was every day over that period multiple times getting to see the Lord and being able to chant in that area just outside the main sanctum and with Ghanapatigals who were coming from all around the country.
Okay.
So there are people from Madurai, there are people from Chennai, there are people from Kashi itself, there are people from Maharashtra, all people who have learned the entire Vedas by heart. So I am still chanting with the book, but the main set of the Ghanapatigals were all from different parts of India and all literally chanting by heart. So it was for me like a practice to engage with them in that high speed, high intense, high energy vibration zone, and that was what I felt was the biggest blessing engaging with it. And Vaikunta Ekadashi had the good fortune to kind of have a very long darshan of Swami. So every time, very often, like when you
are very close to Ananta Padmanabha Swamy. That
so,
itself is a blessing.
Absolutely. So every day, otherwise it's a lot of rush is there. But on that day, we had the good fortune because we were chanting in the morning. Just after we finished the chanting, there was the main Divadana and all of that. So got to see that, the longer version of it. So again, that was first time ever for me. So I feel all in all, Christmas holidays extremely well spent, extremely well blessed.
Okay, that's very spiritual opportunity you have. I think you also carry the blessings of Ananta Padmanabha to all of us, and that's what I would pray for. So to just for understand, so this is called Lakshadeepam.
Yes.
And in terms of Panchanga or the yearly calendar, you mentioned this concludes by Makara Sankranti or the Pongal day. So it goes from there 56 days
before that.
Prior to that.
Yes.
Okay.
So the way this is structured is it's primarily structured based on the Rig Vedam. Okay. So Rig Vedam has 8 Ashtakas.
Okay.
So to finish one round of the Rig Vedam, roughly let's say 1 Ashtaka per day, 8 days. That is repeated for 7 times.
It's 56.
That is how 56 comes.
Okay.
Now you might ask me why 7 times. That is because Sapta Shuddhi and Sapta Aishwarya.
Sapta Shuddhi
and Sapta Aishwarya. Sapta Aishwarya is like wealth, kids, education,
Dhanadanya,
all of those things. So 8 into 7, 56. following the Rigvedam schedule is the 56 days.
Okay.
But you know that in Yajurvedam, there is 7 kandams.
Saptakandam.
So the Saptakandam doesn't require the 8 days.
No.
Right? So I was chanting the Yajurvedam Murajapam, and that one round of it finishes in 7 days.
Okay.
So for Yajurveda, it 8 times happens.
Okay, so it's a reverse. 7 times 8 or 8 7?
Yeah, 8 times 7 for Rigveda, 7 times 8 for Yajurveda.
Very nice.
And then for Samavedam, it takes 4 days to finish one round.
Okay.
And so it's 4 into 14.
14, correct.
So Samavedam gets repeated 14 times.
14 times.
So over the 56 days, these 3 main Vedas gets repeated multiple times, is how the Murajapam is structured.
Okay, that's very nice.
And this happens on everyday morning.
Okay.
So 6:15 we get to the temple, and this year what they did is, in addition to Ghanapatigals, they also gave ID cards or essentially permission to go in for people who have studied the Vedas from, let's say, Trivandrum itself, or anybody who might want to come and join. So we were asked to apply in advance that we are keen to join as Samarpanam. So the Ghanapatigals, they are paid dakshina for this thing, for people who want to just voluntarily chant. So I made a request for that, and around 6:15 we reached the temple, and then about 6:30 onwards the first round starts. 6:30 to 8:15 first half, and then we break for breakfast, and then around 9:15 we start again till 10:30.
Okay.
So every day there is 2 morning halves. And roughly you can think about this as 1 kandam a day, but
correct.
some kandams like 3rd kandam are smaller, so that and 2nd is bigger, 6th is bigger, so we kind of compensate that across the 7 days.
Okay.
So this happens on the morning half.
Okay.
And then in the evening half, there is what is called as Jalajapam.
Okay.
Jalam as in water.
Yeah.
So it happens in the water. So outside the east nada of Padmanabha Swamy Temple, there is a pond called the Padmatirtham pond.
Pushkarani.
So in that pond, in the evening, the same people who are involved in the Japam in the morning across all the Vedas. So morning it happens in different parts.
Okay.
So Rigveda happens in one side, Yajurveda happens in one side, and within Yajurveda this time around, multiple sub-shakas also came.
Okay.
So there were Kanva Shaka. So Taittiriya Shaka is what Krishna Yajurveda Taittiriya Shaka is what I was chanting. But there were also people from Kanva Shaka. One set of people were chanting the Kramapadam of this thing. And then there was also Rigveda and Suktams.
Okay.
So mostly the Rigvedam style of Swaram, but Purusha Suktam and Agamashra Suktam, all of that being chanted. This was happening in front of the Lord, just outside the inner sanctum, and then behind the main sanctum, there Samavedam, Atharvavedam, all of that was being chanted, and on the side also some chanting was happening. The Rigveda Suktam, all of that was happening on the side. And then outside there is also a Krishna Vigraha and Krishna Sanctorum is there. Outside that there is a small mandapam. In that mandapam, Itihasa Puranas were chanted.
Oh, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, Parayanam,
all of that.
Bhagavatam.
And interestingly, there was also something called Harivamsha Purana. I was hearing that for the first time. So there was somebody who was chanting the Harivamsha Purana.
Last portion of Mahabharatam.
So all of that was being chanted there. So this is all the Vedic side of the Murajapam that happens in the morning part. Evening, Jalajapam, it was Rigvedam, 3 Rik of the Rigvedam, which gets repeated 12 times.
Okay.
So essentially 36.
The Argyam. Like Argyam means just people hold the water and they chant a set of mantras or Rig mantras and then offer in prostration to the concerned Devata.
Yes. So this was happening in the Padmatirtham pond. So all the people who are chanting in the morning, in the evening, you will be like knee deep in the water and then offering this Argyam. And the interesting thing about that was this year, they were in different traditions of chanting the Rik was being portrayed. So one was, let's say, the Kerala style of Rigveda chanting, and then one of the days Andavara Swamigal
and the Sri Vaishnava
Sri Lanka Andavara Swamigal was there. On that day there was also the Ghanapatigals from Maharashtra school. So they came and chanted it in the Maharashtra style.
Their style, correct.
So it was very, for me personally, like the Kerala style I've heard a bit, Tamil style or that is what I've learned. But it was interesting to hear the same thing in different chanting styles, which was happening in the evenings, and that is open for everyone. So everyone could just be around the Padmanabham pond, all four sides, and they could see what was happening. Extremely well lit. And so it was a spectacle. So they kind of made it that way, and that way very encouraging and very deeply involved.
And in case of people's participation, because you mentioned some across all over India, the Ganapatis, the Veda scholars have been invited, and some like people can apply to be in the voluntary. So in the morning portion, Murajapam during, do you know how many roughly in terms of people for Rig Veda, Yajurveda and Samaveda, the officially invited Ganapatis, is it, what numbers can you say?
It was not a fixed number. So way it was happening was, there were some people who would come for one Mura and then go. So there was a bit of a rotation across the Muras. So some people would come for a couple of Muras and then go. So in the Yajurvedam where I was chanting, roughly there were about 15 to 20 Ganapatigals.
That's very nice.
Who were there. One Mura, there was 20, one Mura, there was 15. And then people like me who were offering Samarpana, there were about 5-6 of us.
So that's what in the morning session, because Veda is known for Veda Ghosha. It's chanted by group of people. So when I can imagine like Ananta Padmanabha Swamy is reclining on the Adisesha, very long sanctum sanctorum, where people not familiar, they know there are 3 gates, one for the face of the Ananta Padmanabha and the middle and the lotus feet, because it's very difficult to cover. So on that one, so doing the Murajapam, can we take all this Veda Parayam happening say around 40 to 50 every day?
More than that. So for Yajurveda itself there are about 25. This is I am saying just Yajurveda Taitriya Shaka. Kanva Shaka there were about 5 people. For Kramam there were again about 5 people. So this itself you can think as almost 40 people. Okay. And then for Rigvedam again about similar numbers, 30 or 40-ish. For Samavedam bit lesser, but still I would say about 10 to 15 people. And for Rigvedana Suktam, that more people know. So for that, but then that happens only in the first half, not the pre-breakfast
session.
First session. So for that, I think there were about 25-30 people. And then Atharvana Veda and other smaller things, I would say again 10-15 people. So overall, definitely 100 to 130 people.
So do you think then about the 100 and 130 people, they are doing a chanting Parayanam in the morning session, Murajapam? Or the same number of people also need to do in the evening Jalabhagam, or just representation in the
So for people who were like Ganapatigals who were offered Dakshina and like who were staying there, they were expected to be there for both the morning and the evening half. People who are doing Samarpanam, it was a bit more flexible.
So we could stay roughly.
So for me, like what I used to do was like all mornings I definitely used to go. Evenings, once in a while I used to go.
So I hope, I don't know whether, are there any videos so that people can relate and
we will
watch?
So not the inside, because
I don't expect because they won't allow videography inside.
Padmanabha Swamy Temple has especially after the gold popularity, there is extreme restrictions on phone being taken inside. So every day we were checked, like only the Japam book can you literally take inside. Even umbrellas, dress, everything has to be kept outside.
Are there not any official recording by the Devaswam of the Murajapam?
Inside nothing. But Jalajapam we have recordings even for the day that I was there, as outside. So that we will have recordings which we will add to the video.
That will be nice, so the people can relate how the Jalabhagam has been done, Jalajapam and this. So, and what is history or legacy of this one? This happened, you said, as a Lakshadeepam. And you also mentioned like Bhadradeepam. What are these differences?
Murajapam is Vedams being chanted in multiple Muras. Now, the first record of this goes back to 520 AD.
Oh, that's almost 6th century.
So this is by some records, some Tripparur Aditya Marthanda Varma. So at that time, there was no Travancore kingdom.
No Samasthanam.
No Travancore as a kingdom was not there. It was Venad Rajyam. Venad Rajyam. So Venad Rajyam at that point was ruled by Aditya Marthanda Varma, and it is said that he was the one who first did the Murajapam. So at that time, the constellation of Lakshadeepam, Bhadradeepam were not there, just Murajapam. Fast forward to 1744. This is the timing of Aniram Thirunal Marthanda Varma, who is considered, let's say, the biggest Travancore king in some ways.
Among them, okay.
So this is just after he had been in multiple battles. And after the battles were all over, he wanted to both to heal the wounds of the battle as well as to offer prosperity and goodness for his Rajyam and his people. He was talking to different Veda Purohitas, Nambudiris, all of them from different parts of the country. And they suggested that he does something called Bhadradeepam.
Bhadradeepam.
So the first record of Bhadradeepam is 1744.
Okay.
Which comes from what is called as Madilagam records. That is the official records of Padmanabha Swamy Temple and the Travancore royal family, all of that. So in that 1744, and there is in fact a book on Padmanabha Swamy Temple which the current Highness Rani Lakshmi Gauri Bai has written. So in that she also chronicles sort of this. So we will put the reference, we can also give the reference on the video for anybody who wants to read more about this. So 1744 Bhadradeepam, and Bhadradeepam is essentially a worship to the sun god.
Okay.
Sun god being viewed as Vishnu, being offered the prayers.
Okay.
And it happens over a 6-day period. So the Thirunal Nambudiris, which are the main Tantri family for the Padmanabha Swamy Temple, they have recorded the process of how they do this, because their family is the family that typically does this.
Okay.
One of these Tantris, his name is Sri Saji Nambudripal. He basically refers to Bhadradeepam as a form of Dwadasha Aradhana, which was done in Nambudiri families, which was modified and structured according to Marthanda Varma's discussions. And that became how Bhadradeepam got constituted.
So Dwadasha Aradhana means you do Aradhana 12 times.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's essentially a Vaishnava style ritual which was followed, and it is said to have come from how Kartaviryaarjunan had done Vaishnava Puja.
Vaishnava Puja. Okay.
So it is inspired by that, structured by how the Tantris, Nambudiri families were using Dwadasha Aradhana, and then customized and structured for Marthanda Varma.
Okay, there is, like you said, just a very small fact when you mentioned as a Dwadasha Aradhana. In Sri Vaishnava tradition, most of the Vishnu temples in Tamil Nadu, the Brahmotsavam happens. So like in Tirupati, Thirumala Brahmotsavam. So for those 10 days, since the Brahmotsavam is conducted by Brahma himself to the deity, and the whole procession is happening. So the Aradhana is not happening publicly for almost 10 days. So then the 11th day, they do in all one single day, continuous Aradhana will be happening. That ritual is called Dwadasha.
Okay. It's interesting. Just to finish the note on how the Bhadradeepam is structured. First 3-4 days of the Bhadradeepam is all Ankura, Acharya, Yajamana Vratam and Yajamana Abhishekam. So Yajamana is the Raja himself.
Correct.
For those people who might not have learnt about Padmanabha Swamy Temple in the past, in 1750, January 3rd, Marthanda Varma, who is the same person who started Bhadradeepam, he did what is called as Trippadidanam. Which is offering the kingdom to Padmanabha Swamy and then saying, me and my rest of the legacy of the royal family will remain as Padmanabha Dasa, and we are basically caretaker of the Rajyam on behalf of Padmanabha.
Absolutely, like a trust managing.
Yes. So that happened in 1750.
Okay.
And because of that is why a lot of these rituals, if you think deeper, it is all the royal family doing it for the Lord and ruling the Rajya as in country before independence on behalf of Padmanabha.
That's a very unique tattva, you would say, that you could see only in countries like India. It's very difficult because people, they say we are kingdom, we are royal monarch and things where they are the prevailing supreme final authority. But here there are, especially in Thiruvananthapuram, this noble thought, very humble thought rather, that it's all, there are like Bhagavan who are taking care of us and we are not anyone above them, and therefore they offer not only themselves but also the whole kingdom, and they are at service to the Lord and also the society.
And that is important to understand because Bhadradeepam as a ritual is partly about the king. In the sense that after the first 3-4 days, the king is the main Yajaman for the Bhadradeepam. Okay. And on the 4th and the 5th day, it's a 6-day ritual. On the 4th and 5th day is when 4th day evening they do the Avahana of Surya just before sunset. The last one Ayanam, Nariga, just before
the last 24 minutes.
Before Surya Astamanam, they do the Avahana of Surya onto the Homakuntam.
Oh, okay.
And next day morning, just before the sun is rising, they will do the Deepam lighting and then reignite the fire and do the Deepa Puja.
Okay.
So it is essentially a fire ritual. Bhadradeepam is essentially a fire ritual, but happens for multiple days because there's events that happen. And the main event is essentially a homam where Surya is invoked, and then you are offering danams and the rest of the upachara to Surya Devata. So that is the structure of Bhadradeepam.
So how frequently Bhadradeepam used to happen?
So Bhadradeepam is supposed to happen every Ayanam.
Oh, 6 months.
Uttarayanam and
once in 6 months.
Uttarayanam and Dakshinayam. So it ends with the Magara Siveli. One Bhadradeepam ends with the Magara Siveli as in Jan, and the other ends with Karkadaga Siveli.
Masam we say in Tamil.
Yes. So this is the 2 times a year when this was happening. Okay. So from 1744 onwards, when you go back to history, it has been happening from 1744 every year twice. 12 Bhadradeepams become 6 years. And that's when one Lakshadeepam is done.
Okay, now there is a connection
between the Bhadradeepam
12 Bhadradeepams. 12th Bhadradeepam is Lakshadeepam.
Correct. Okay. So that is how the 6-year sequence comes.
Okay. And when we say like Lakshadeepam, is it in a way related to the count when we say Laksha?
Yeah, so that is Laksham Deepam being light.
So literally 100,000
so
number of lamps.
So this is both inside the main sanctum and the pradakshina areas as well as in the outer gopurams.
That will be very...
And outside the east nada, there was also, we have from this Lakshadeepam, there's videos and photos that we have.
Good drones view, like a bird's eye view.
There's a lot of that. We can in fact give it, when editing is done, we can give that and that can be added.
So Lakshadeepam. Okay.
So going back to 1744, Bhadradeepam, 1746-47 is when Murajapam in the Madhilagam records first comes in. Mm-hmm. And that year, there was no Lakshadeepam, but just Murajapam was done. And that year, it was done for 19 Muras.
Okay.
152 days.
Oh.
Okay. So massive. Right?
Almost like a 5 month.
Yeah. 152 days, 19 times repetition. Okay. And this is 1746-47.
Okay.
And then in 1749, in Suchindram is a Shaiva Sthalam.
Yes.
In Suchindram, there was also one Murajapam that was happened, which is again in the records. 1750 is when Murajapam and Lakshadeepam, in the way we now understand and structure it, which is the 56 days and ending with Lakshadeepam, that happened in the modern records, was in Madhilagam records, from 1750 onwards.
Okay.
From then onwards, every 6 years there has been Lakshadeepam, Bhadradeepam happening multiple times, as in twice every year. This was happening till the 1940s regularly.
Okay.
1940s, when Chithira Thirunal was the Raja. Chithira Thirunal, for those who might be interested in the Kerala history part, 1936 is when the temple entry proclamation happens. Okay. This is when everyone is allowed into temples and all of that. So during Chithira Thirunal time, that was a time when the royal family or the Travancore finances in general was struggling a bit, and it was also the time when national struggles was going on,
the historical
independence struggle, all of that going on, right? So it was a time of flux, and it was during that time that the Raja made a conscious choice, both from a financial standpoint as well as from the thinking that given how the nationalist struggle was going, he was beginning to understand that the way Rajyam and Raja was conceived in the past no longer holds the same meaning and relevance. Correct. So Bhadradeepam, as I said earlier, has a very strong focus on the Raja. Yes. So given he realized that that is less significant, now we have to, whatever finance is there has to be more for the Devata and the Rajya. And he said, okay, let me dial down on the Bhadradeepam, Jalajapam part. So Jalajapam in the historical times was more for Shatru Samhara. It was meant more for enemy and all of that. So even that was becoming less significant then. So in the 1940s, he made a conscious choice. The Raja himself made a conscious choice to say, Bhadradeepam and Jalajapam we will pause, Lakshadeepam we will continue, and all the money and resources that we have should be more for the Devata and the Rajya. So like people, than more for me, because Bhadradeepam, the ending part of Bhadradeepam is what is called as Tirumudi Kalasham, which is sort of, you can think of it as a rejuvenation coronation types.
Okay.
So the Raja is given an Abhishekam, and the Raja holds the sword in his hand, because what happened with Tripadidanam was the sword of the kingdom was basically what Marthanda Varma had given to Padmanabha.
Padmanabha.
So now when you look at Siveli or Arate, the Raja now holds that sword and goes around in the front.
Yeah, I have seen
So that Tirumadi Kalasham day, which is the last day of Bhadradeepam, he basically holds that and he's done Abhisheka. So essentially, as you can understand, that is a Raja focused ritual. And he said, like 1940s, we probably need to move on both financial and other reasons, and so it paused. And Bhadradeepam restarted last year.
Until
Jalajapam restarted in 2020. As in the previous Murajapam.
Okay. So to summarize, this is Chithira Thirunal, who did the change from 1940. And then realizing that, say, I would say at that time, that's the end of kind of Indian independence struggle all over the world, Second World War happening. I would say it was a kind of the imperialism kind of toning down, and people realizing it's a power to be with the people more in the democratical thing, or more independent nations are emerging. And this also symbolically resonant with the decision of Chithira Thirunal, who said, let's go off Bhadradeepam and do the Lakshadeepam for the, that's very close to say, like when we say the service to the Lord is also the service to the people. Normally I think in Telugu or in Sanskrit we say Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. Service to people is service to God. That's nice, it's been captured in this way. And now you said the Bhadradeepam is now restarted after
2025. The Tantri, which is Sree Padmanabha, who is the person, that's in fact a good video, but that is in Malayalam, where he essentially explained this. So I'm basically referring off from what he said. So he and the team now, last year, they restarted Bhadradeepam, and Jalajapam, which was again stopped in the 40s, started during the previous Murajapam, 2020 Murajapam. 6 years ago. So that was the first Murajapam where I had the fortune to first engage. So before that, and in that Murajapam, I was only chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, because I didn't know Ajurvedam at that point of time. It was after that I had the good fortune to start learning Ajurvedam, and this time I was very keen to engage, so that it was like a logical choice which I felt was taken after that. And so when this one happened, I thought it was important that I do it. It's a very
opportunity, like what you said. It's also people go like progressively. When 6 years ago you were chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, and this time you got an opportunity to be part of Veda Parayana, because I have seen you closely here learning the lessons every day. And also, I also had that similar kind of thing. Maybe next 6 years down the line, I may have an opportunity to be with the Parayana. So this is very nice and thing. But when you say Lakshadeepam, the 1 Laksha is 100,000 things. What do? Do they have like small deepams arranged? Is there what's the economy and other arrangements behind it? Can you elaborate?
Yes. So Padmanabha Swamy Temple has a fairly long Pradakshina area.
Circumambulation.
So, and just outside of the Padmanabha Swamy's main sanctum itself, there's a lot of Deepa Tal.
Like wooden ones or stone?
No, metal ones.
Metal ones, okay. Like a sculpture.
Not the sculpture, just like frame with
the lamp.
With the lamp. And same for the Krishna sanctum also outside that there is this. So there's lot of that's already inside. And in addition, they have big Deepa stands, both inside the main sanctum and outside, and all of this gets lighted by oil wick. And for that, this year around, they were very closely engaging with the different community groups within Trivandrum and allocating for each Mura different areas.
Like a postcode allotment.
So they like this 7 days at the end of every Mura, there is what is called as Mura Siveli. So as in 7 Sivelis happen at the end of each of the 8 days.
Siveli is like a procession.
Siveli is the procession of the Lord outside.
Utsava
Murti outside. So it is not just Padmanabha, it's Padmanabha, Narasimha Swami and Krishna Swami. All come on the Siveli outside. So every 8th day, there is this lighting inside. And then on the 56th day, which is the main Lakshadeepam day, all inside, plus outside on the 4 sides, outside there is a lot of lighting, and then all the gopurams get lit by electric lights. So this happened from 1972 onwards.
Okay.
This electric lighting part.
Electric.
Other than before that, it was all
deeper.
this thing. And from 1972, they started doing this outside lighting. And the Mura Siveli is also an interesting concept. This happens once every 8 days, and every Mura, it's a different Vahana.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the first day, when the Murajapam starts, that day the Lord is taken out on the Simhasana Vahana.
Throne.
Okay. This is before this first day, just the starting of the whole Murajapam. And on the 8th day, he is taken on Ananta.
Okay.
That's the chariot. Ananta is the Vahana. And then the second is Kamala. Third and fifth is Indra Vahana. And then fourth and sixth is Pallaki. And then the seventh, as in the main, is Garuda Vahana.
Yeah, same like in the Brahma happens in the temples.
Yes.
Okay.
So this happens once every 8 days.
Okay.
And 3 lords are taken outside for 3 pradakshanas around the whole area.
Around the temple.
Yes.
Okay. Because when you mentioned Lakshadeepam and the physically lighting 1 lakh is a massive community effort.
Yes. So
like
that is why they have a lot of volunteer effort in the whole lighting of it. Different areas were allocated to different people. So this year, I think it was super well planned. Okay. And if you think about the finances of it, the records say that it's 1750, as in the first one, when Martha did that, it costed about 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs in that day's money. The 2020 was about 3.5 to 4 crores.
Okay.
This year it is estimated around 6 crores.
6 crores.
Right. So this is all 56 days. There was food for all the Ghanapatigal who were there, their accommodation, lighting, security, all of that. And then there were also this year something super interesting where they had 2 stages outside called Vande Padmanabham. To showcase across 56 days all the cultural things, from Ottandulal to Bhajans to Kuchipudi to Bhadradeepam to all of this were showcased every day evening. Okay. After the just before Jalajapam and then after Jalajapam, every day evening, 2 stages, all this was also happening. So personally I felt this year was, compared to 2020 also, a lot more massive in scale, lot more planned, and engagement of people was super, like from the local area as well as from how many Swamigals came. Like just like Srirangam Swamigal, there was also Sreevas GR Swami, Udupi, different Swamigals from
Madhwas.
Swamigal from all of that came. And like across the country, like there are people from Kashi who came. So across the country, there were all these main Swamigals who had come, and again, people are saying that they would come otherwise once in a while, but this time around in that 56 days, like all of them came. And I had like one of the Jalajapam, Andhra Swamigal was in fact leading one of these Jalajapam days. I had the good fortune at the end of it to do namaskara to him, and then that day he even gave dakshina. So it's like I have kept that dakshina. So I feel like that's a big
because it's very, I mean, it's out of world to think.
Yes.
We now in this day of age, communication, travel, people can come all over across anywhere in part of the world to any particular place what they like to be in Thiruvananthapuram for 56 days. But imagine 1700s and things, there is no communication, no travel, not even people come by foot.
That was
all those things, correct. All those times, it's not just related to one particular Rajya or local kingdom, but even people would have come from Kasi, Ujjain, Avanti or any other place, all the way down to south. So that's what it makes the whole India culturally and traditionally. There is always, irrespective of whatever the struggles happening, like 18th century, early part of East Indian Company, or decline of Mughal, or whatever it is, these things have been going on with utmost service and to the society and to the Lord. That's very impressive to learn. Absolutely. And the carrying forward this tradition is the most
absolutely thing. In fact, the records say that like there are people from Marthanda and other places who came by foot, like exactly as you said. So the records are saying that like in the 1800s, they were coming by foot to join the Japam and all of that.
Because there is like what we say typically like a Kasi Rameswaram is a link. Like that, whenever a big event happens like this, once in 6 years, people come to South India, or once in 4 years, Kumbh Mela, Maha Kumbh Mela happens, people all over India, right from Kanyakumari they go. It's very, I would say, inspiration for all the generations to come as well. That's very useful, Sreevas, to know, hear from you, your
in fact, like,
in-person experience.
Absolutely. And like just one closing note on related to the, so Siveli is essentially the Lord being taken out. And the Lord was taken out not only for the Siveli days. In the last 19 days, the Lord in the morning, so when I said there's 2 parts to the Murajapam, right? When we were just about finishing the first part, as you said earlier, the Padmanabha Swamy has 3 entrances.
Yes.
And for those of you who might now go and see Padmanabha Swamy again, the middle part is where the golden Vigrahas are also
Utsava Murti.
there. So there is Sriveli Murti and Utsava Murti. So that's 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Sriveli Murti is in silver.
Okay.
The Utsava Murti is gold.
Gold.
That is brought to what is called as the Abhishravana Mandapam, which is the mandapam that is just outside the main
like
circle.
Artha Mandapam.
Okay. On to that, there is Bhudevi, Sridevi and Padmanabha in gold, and the Padmanabha's Sriveli Vigraha, which is the silver one.
Silver.
All of this was brought over to there. So in the last 10-15 days, 19 days in fact, when we were chanting, by about 1.5 hours, it would become too loud because there all the Kottu Melam, all of that happens because the Lord is being taken out. Then he was offered Kalabha Abhishekam.
Okay.
So the Kalabha, sandal, Abhishekam is done.
Sandana
Abhishekam is done for the last 19 days leading up to the Lakshadeepam day.
Okay.
So that was, again, for me, first time I was seeing that also during the course of this.
Okay. Because it's also interesting to know Thiruvananthapuram is almost like close to Kanyakumari, southern tip of Bharatadesha, India.
Yes.
And there are portion of Tamil Nadu in those times were also under this Chithira, Thirunal, all those things.
Yes.
All the temples, Vishnu temples, if you look there, like Walter also mentioned Shiva temple like Susindram, we have Vishnu temple like Tiruvattaru, Adikesava Perumal temple. Nanguneri Vanamamalai is one of the Dividesam.
Okay.
So it's called Vanamamalai Thotatri Perumal.
Okay.
That is also, interestingly, you will be surprised, they also do once in 6 years Lakshadeepam.
Oh, is it?
Okay. It exactly happens on the Makara
Sankranti.
Masa.
Okay. I think like it was probably like structured around the same time, and at that time, in fact, it might well have been similar kingdoms or same kingdom itself. So
it was under the rule of Travancore, and I've been there many times since my childhood, close to my native place. So the difference is in Kerala, the ambalams or temples are more with the wooden thing because of the all the outside pressings, the 4 boundaries. But here there are huge stone things. So every stone pillar I have seen, if you go there is at the top there is a carving like a lotus, and every lotus leaf will have a shallow thing. So we used to wonder why they make like a shallow. Actually, that is what they light a Lakshadeepam. So that Pragaram is one of very biggest. If you start walking, it will be easily more than 3 kilometers.
Okay.
Imagine so many number of pillars. Same like a Rameshwaram procession is one of the biggest in Asia. Like this, these are there. So they use that thing to put oil and wick, and they do Lakshadeepam.
Yeah. So here it is both, that is also there in the outer Prahara, and then just outside this thing, it's more the wooden and the metal, this thing. So it's a combination of all of that, yes.
So it's very good to know, it's not only when you mean Murajapam and Jalajapam, it's not only the Veda of Rig Veda, Yajurveda and Samveda, but also the Itikasa Puranas, chanting of Harivamsham, chanting of Vishnu Sahasranamam, Bhagavad Gita.
Vishnu Sahasranamam again was also chanted for all 56 days. In fact, like what they say is, it is Veda Brahma Upasana, Nada Brahma Upasana is the Veda part.
Yes, correct.
And then Tejo Upasana, at the end of it is Lakshadeepam. That is how they conceptualize this. Like one is the Nadam
and the Deepam as a Tejas.
Yeah. And like the ending is also very interesting. Like the day after Lakshadeepam, they do a very interesting procedure called Anna Uruvittal.
Oh yeah, elephant.
Okay. So
I think there is no ritual without Anna in Kerala.
Yeah. So what they do is, again, it was very interesting what happens. So the Raja, as every day somebody from the Raja family comes in the morning to do like their morning prayers to Padmanabha Swamy. Every day this happens in the morning. So after that, when they come outside the Nada, there is elephant that will be waiting with all netipatam and
decoration.
All decoration, all of that. And then the Raja from the Mahut, which is the elephant's Mahut, he gets the stick and then he does a prayer to Padmanabha and then just touches the elephant. And then the elephant is taken around the outer Prahara and then through the north Nada, the elephant is taken inside the main sanctum. Main sanctum area. And then the elephant goes there and is placed just outside the Ottakal Mandapam, which is the main Mandapam, just outside the main sanctum. Just outside that Ottakal Mandapam, the elephant also stays. So that is the process of Ana Uruvittal. And then the elephant comes out, does another pradakshina, goes out. But then that is sort of the symbolic process of Lakshadeepam concluding. So with Danam to all the people who were Ghanapatigals and other people, which the Raja comes and gives, and then he comes and does this process with the elephant. And that symbolically marks the
conclusion
of the whole Lakshadeepam.
That's very, very inspiring to note. And also I came to know through my another known person during this Murajapam of the 56 days, like you mentioned, all these happened because Thiruvananthapuram Padmanabha Swamy, being also one of the 108 Vaishnava Jivedesam, sung 10 pasuras sung by Nammalvar Sadagopan on the praise of Padmanabha Swamy. So those 4,004 Divya Prabham Tamil verses have also sung in this 56 days. And some of our contact from Srirangam, Chennai and Madurai, they have been there, and they also have been very fortunate to perform same like this Murajapam.
I was told like during one of the Sivelis, I was not there for that Siveli day, but I was told one Siveli, they were in fact chanting the
like a Tirupavai or some other Thiruvaimoli chanting. So that's really amazing. I look forward to the videos of this Lakshadeepam, the Jalajapam, what they were doing Jalajapam, and also all this good to know from your in-person account. That was very, very valuable.
I think it was very fortunate to have had the chance to both engage with it and now talk about it also.
Okay, that's very good to know. Thanks, Sreevas, and we'll see in another episode of Clyde Samvada. Thanks again, everyone.
Namaskaram.